Agasthyarkoodam is a 1868-meter tall peak of the Pothigai mountain range of Tamil Nadu and Kerala in the western Ghats of South India. The peak lies on the border of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. This peak is a part of the Agasthyamala Biosphere Reserve, which lies on the border between the Indian states of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. The perennial Thamirabarani River originates from the eastern side of the range and flows into the Tirunelveli district of Tamil Nadu. Agasthyarkoodam is a pilgrimage center for devotees of the Hindu sage Agastya, who is considered to be one of the 7 rishis of Hindu Puranas. Agasthyamala Biosphere Reserve is among 20 new sites added by UNESCO to its world network of biosphere reserves in March 2016. The peak of Agasthyarkoodam can be reached only by trekking up to it. Trekking is allowed based on strict guidelines and is open to pilgrims during January to mid-March. Trekking passes are issued by Kerala Forest Department from the district office at Trivandrum. The trekking route starts from Bonacadit. The route near Agasthyakoodam is not open to the public. Vehicles reach only till Bonacadit, which is around 50 kilometers from Thiruvananthapuram. The trek to the peak is 20 kilometers long from Bonacadit and requires 2 days. The first part of the trek can be started from the base station Bonacadit in the early morning and is 14 kilometers through the forest to the camp. Elephants and wild bulls are in abundance in this part, especially in the evenings. The final part, i.e. the 6 kilometers long trek, can be done from the camp to the top of Agasthyakoodam mountain on the second day. The lower elevations of this peak are known for their abundance of rare herbs and medicinal plants. Around 2,000 medicinal plants used in Ayurvedic treatments are found here. The Agastya hill is a part of the Western Ghats that lies in the border between the Thiruvananthapuram, Kollam, and Pathanamthitta districts of Kerala and Tirunelveli in Tamil Nadu. The officer took a class on what a forest is and the rules to be followed inside the forest. Afterwards, our bags were checked. Initially, the way was straight and offered a tireless walk. Every group has a guide with them. Guides are actually the tribal people of the Agasthyar forests. There were wonderful sceneries all around. The sight of strange-shaped old trees, the swings that are formed by big roots which look like python, the forest flowers which peeped through these roots and smiled at us, the musical concerts held by birds and crickets, all these made our walk an indescribable experience. Some parts of the forest were in darkness, the sun's rays were not falling on those areas. As we walked ahead, we could see a stream that had started to dry up. In this trekking way, there are 3 rivers to cross: Karamanayar, Vasapanthayar, and Atayar. In between, there are camps which have the necessary facilities for the tourists. Here, there are first aid and wireless set available among other such important things. We drank water from a small river and took rest for some time at the Karamana River camp. At a short distance, small waterfalls and Vasapanthayar camp were there. Even though it is small, the falls is beautiful. After that come another river and the Atayar camp. Enjoying the natural beauty, listening to the song of the wind, and paying obeisance to the forest gods, the thrill cannot be explained in words, it is something that needs to be experienced personally. As we continued the journey, we enjoyed the charming beauty of the forest and reached the worship place under a big tree. Here, the way divides into 2, one leading to the Agasthyamala and the other to a Tirumala base camp. We had a look at the path which we would have to take the next day. We turned to the other way which led to the base camp. The camp was entrenched to protect from wild animals. Base camp consisted of a small canteen and some bamboo huts. We showed our tickets to the guard sitting in a small room in the canteen. The tickets will be entered in a book as evidence that we visited this place, and each one will be given a mat. We can go to any hut with that mat to lie down. We had a cup of hot black tea from the canteen and walked to one of the huts. Inside the hut, there was a raised portion made with bamboo in the shape of a cot. I kept my bag in a corner, laid the mat on the cot and lay straight on it. I experienced the heavenly bliss of the gushing wind, bitter cold, and the music of crickets. In the twilight, the huge Agasthyar hill looked like a crown on the head of the forest. I sat in the camp having my porridge little by little, relishing the cold dark night and the song of the nightingales. I felt like this itself is enough to make my trip successful. In between, I had met and talked to a lot of other tourists. After a while, we also lay down to sleep. After some time, the roar of the wind started sounding like thunder. I woke up to the sound of the alarm and after the daily routines, got ready to climb the Agasthyar hill. The way was rougher than the one that we came along yesterday. On the way, I saw a board with words reminding us of our responsibility to take care and protect the Agasthyar forests. Agasthyarkoodam is one of the biosphere reserves that has been added by UNESCO to its world network of biosphere reserves. As per the statistics, it is a storehouse of more than 2,000 medicinal plants. There is also an abundance of unknown and rare herbs. The most important of the medicinal plants present here is Arachiapacha or Trichopus zeylanicus, which is the natural version of the present-day drugs. We moved forward through ways winding upwards in the deep forest, jumping from boulder to boulder. If we miss one step, we will fall hitting the head on the rocks. At the end of this strenuous journey, we reached the white rock formations called Pongalapura. Devotees make Pongala here before climbing the Agasthyar hills, that is why this hill is called Pongalapura. We lay there for a while gazing at the shapes of the clouds in the sky. There is a small lake here. We sat beside the lake and had biscuits and water that I had carried in my bag. When the other tourists saw us having biscuits, they gave us some chapati and slices of onion. We accepted it and after having had food, we continued to walk. Though climbing the hill was a really difficult task, it was made thrilling by the cool morning, the not-so-hot rays of the sun, and the mist that swallowed the body occasionally. We saw thickets on one side and steep precipice on the other side. We enjoyed this beautiful scenery and the gushing wind while slowly ascending the hill. We reached in front of a precipice. We had a close look and saw the rope tied to assist in going up on it. I held the rope, and started to climb up. I knew that if I stopped in the middle, I would fall. I reached the top and took a deep breath. I remember the way I lay down as soon as I reached the top. I couldn't believe that I reached safely. I forgot all the hardship when I saw the scenic beauty all around. Sitting there, I took out the camera and took some snaps. Natural beauty could be seen brimming from everything I saw there. We continued our journey upwards. Past the dense forest, we reached underneath another sharp precipice. There too, we saw ropes tied to it. Again I held the rope, and started to climb up. It took some time for the fact to sink in that I was standing at the peak of the Agasthyarkoodam hill. At a short distance, I saw the sage Agastya smiling in the midst of agarbatti and the sound of mantra. The sights were fascinating. On the one side, there was the distant, captivating view of the Nayar and Peppara dams of Kerala, and on the other side were sights of the districts of Kanyakumari and Tirunelveli. I looked down and saw the aesthetic beauty of the lush greenery of the thick forests. Far away, hills and clouds formed the boundaries of the forest. The view of 5 hills that stood touching each other, clouds coming and kissing them at intervals, getting covered by mist, the view was a treat to the eyes. Though I did not want to leave this sacred place and the wonderful scenery spread out by nature, I started climbing down the hill. We reached Bonacaudet enjoying on the way. This is a trip that I can never forget, the time I spent relishing the natural beauty, 2 days in the lap of nature, patting the wild flowers, chatting with small birds, making love with forest streams, cleansing the body and mind. Agasthyarkoodam is 32 kilometers from Nayar Dam and 23 kilometers from Bonacaudet, near Ponmuti. The major city and airport nearest to Agasthyarkoodam is Thiruvananthapuram and its Trivandrum International Airport, around 61 kilometers away. The nearest railway stations are Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala and Ambasamudram, Tirunelveli district, Tamil Nadu. The trekking path, nearly 35 kilometers, is from Bonacodit.